Recording in progress.
99.99 FM, dude. And I'm sitting here with a very, very interesting bunch of individuals who we have found from all over South Africa. We've been making an album, which is coming out in a couple of months, and it's called The State of the Nation. And this album is a consequence of us spending 2 years driving around South Africa and digging up some of the best talent we could find. So we're really excited about launching this album here at the Burn. And we're sitting in the caravan with Major, Bongs, Tremaine, Samar, and Lucas. We're going to be performing this afternoon some of the title tracks from the State of the Nation album, which is a real achievement. And I'm so very proud of the guys I'm sitting in this caravan with, sweating away with right now. Tremaine, how are you doing today?
I'm awesome, thanks. How are you?
You're doing good. I'm doing lekker. I must say I'm a bit nervous about performing this afternoon. How are you feeling?
I was excited. I'm feeling very nervous right now, but still very, very excited.
Yeah, and Tremaine, 41,000 Sisters, what's its significance?
The significance for me personally, I'm an activist against the rape and sexual abuse of women and children, and the song really, really speaks to that and encourages us to stand up and, speak out. So that is why it's very, very significant to me.
Yeah, lekker track and a really nice kind of message behind it as well. So Bongs, tell us, what are you thinking about Africa Burn? You've been here for like a couple of nights now.
Yeah. Africa Burn is an experience. It's love and oneness, man. Togetherness. People are so free.
That's cool.
People are so free up in this. And I've seen music. Music and sound is basically playing the most important part in Africa Burn.
Yeah.
And I'm loving it. I'm supporting it too.
Wind.
Nature is definitely one. And to imagine that we had the 10th year and it's gone now, and we have given up because nature is one.
Exactly what it's like. It's in the desert, and you're in a funny place, and everybody's dressed up and looking weird and mad.
I hit peak grit about 3 days in. I was so filthy, dirty, covered in dust and sand. It's revolting. I don't know how the artists coped.
It was tough for the first day. I was overwhelmed. But today I got used to Major, I got used to Bongs, to Tremaine, to Lucas, and the whole team. It's Africa Burn 2019, Sima.
We're off. Play a gig at a place called the State of Bliss.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be nice. State of Bliss tonight, 5 p.m. baby.
I'm here at the State of Bliss with my state of mind for the state of the nation. And we're here to kill things, man. Yeah? G Major.
I mean, fucking really? It's the things you worry about that you shouldn't be worried about. So what I wasn't worried about was Arthur blowing up the guitar amp, which has now successfully happened. The amp was blown up. Everything's broken. Everything is breaking.
To make a right over every wrong. Really thank everyone at SLF for giving me the opportunity, and then definitely my parents as well, because that's where my kids are.
We ended up performing 4 shows across different days, different audiences, and each time the performances got better and better, and it was really, really nice to experience that.
I've witnessed so much love and, you know, togetherness. I think this, no one is white, no one is black, but we all people, and it's all one family. Music is a journey. I'm not only here for partying, but also I'm here to make connections. Yeah.
And a little bit of love it though. Much appreciated.
Awesome.
Great, yes. Thank you everybody for coming in. Before we hand it over to Brian to manage Town Hall this evening, I would like to bring it through to Jeremy, who's from DPW, to share his screen. And from there we will have a nice view. Jeremy, there we go. There we go. I'm going to spotlight Jeremy from DPW, everybody.
Howdy, everybody. It's
Jeremy, where are you?
I'm on top of the bus at off-center camp here in the Tankwa Karoo at Clairefontaine. It's the end of the workday for the DPW, and so everyone is rolling in and getting their crew beers and getting ready to relax for the rest of the evening. But I'm here to give a sneak preview to all the people with video out in the world of what it looks like out here now, the construction of artworks and the coming together of our off-center camp. You'll be able to see in the distance here some Bedouin tents going up, a bunch of lamp poles standing in the distance. Here's the DMV, and here's a view of the Binnakrang. This is the beginnings of the OCC. You can see the ice tent in the distance and Radio Free Tankwa. And here's the DPW and all of our grotesque hippies ending their work days.
Amazing. How's the weather?
It's chilly. I think a cold front has moved into Cape Town as well. It's been about 5 degrees when we get up in the morning and drink our coffee around the fire. We had a beautiful overcast day, which made it really, really easy to work, but it's been chilly. Luckily, we haven't had a lot of wind this year. We had 15 mils of rain about 3 weeks ago, so stuff is nicely settled and it's extremely green out here. It's really mind-blowing.
Awesome. And so all coming together super smoothly.
We're running a very well-oiled machine at DPW this year, it appears. People are meeting their deadlines. Chias is high. I mean, it's going fantastic.
It's all on the quality of the oil. Awesome. Thanks so much. Thanks.
Cool.
For
Thanks,
giving
guys.
us the sneaky peek. We'll see you soon. Great. You just done spotlights. So that was a little sneaky peek. There's a few of us still left behind in civilization. I'm Brian. I'm the comms lead at Africa Burn. I'm responsible for all the poor grammar and confusing instructions that you receive on an irregular basis. I'd like to welcome you all to the last town hall before we all go off to the desert. Just going to stop all those annoying notifications. Thank you to everyone who sent questions through to us. Massively appreciated. There were a few of the same, which not too many left field ones, so it hopefully means that you know everything about Africa Burn already and are ready to hit the dust. If during this meeting, if you want to put your questions in the chat thread, then we'll skim through them. So we're going to work through the list of questions that have been sent through already. Hopefully that covers 99% of what you need to know. And then if there's any we've missed off, then we'll go through the chat thread and we'll invite you to ask your question later on. Yeah, and trying to give you as much information as possible, but also part of Africa Burn is not knowing everything. We have the running joke in the ops team that none of us would get 100% at the Africa Burn exam, and that's the way it should be. So it's good to know a bit. Knowing a lot may be better, but knowing everything is definitely not a good thing when it comes to Africa Burn. And I think that's why, you know, the artworks and theme camps and what's happening there, we try and keep as a surprise for you when you get there as well. There's quite a few team members in the meeting today who you can ask questions. You met Bash earlier, who introduced Jeremy. He's part of DMV and DPW. We've got Lorraine, one of our directors, in the meeting. Got Lexi from Theme Camps, Miska from Sanctuary, Claire from the volunteer group, Patsy from ICE I saw pop up, and Jackie from Airspace, and Julia, who's responsible for all the tickets and all the suppliers. And yeah, please stay on till the end. We've got another little sneaky peek preview for you, and it's not my outfits for the burn, unfortunately. So going through the questions, I think first the most important thing for us to go through is tickets. And what we're seeing at the moment, we're seeing lots of inquiries, we're seeing lots of people exchanging tickets and trying to figure out how they've given them or not given them. But we are seeing resales happen all the time, and there's lots of people who are changing their minds. It'll probably happen all the way right up until the event itself, as things happen and things change. So I'm definitely of the opinion that you can still come to Africa Burn if you want to, and you don't have a ticket, if you're prepared to keep clicking on the Quicket site to try and find a resale. But the person who is the absolute expert on tickets is Julia Savage, and so the questions that were asked by our participants are, first thing, what do you need to check into the event successfully?
So coming to check into the event successfully and not get too much shit from my box office crew would be definitely a barcoded Africa Burn ticket from Quicket. And definitely not a car pass from Viagogo, because that's a scam. You're not going to get in with that ticket. And if you're worried about whether your ticket is legit, you can email tickets at Africa Burn, and we can check up on the system if your ticket is legit. And I'm seriously hoping it is. So you'll need a ticket from Quicket, and your ticket needs to be in your name. And just a side note for anyone who's transitioning or changing names or anything like that, basically we just need the ticket to be in the name that matches your ID book. So if you haven't managed to change your ID, then we would ask you to please just have your ticket in your previous name, and if you want to put your new name in brackets, that's great. We'll make sure that both names are in the system for our too. So your name needs to be on your ticket, and then you have to bring your ID, which you'll present at the gate. And of course, your name needs to match your ID, and the face in your ID needs to match the person looking at us through the window. Then you'll also need a vehicle pass. And there's two types of vehicle passes. There's a vehicle pass for cars and trucks, and then there's a vehicle pass for camper vans. If you haven't purchased your vehicle pass, which you would have been able to do at ticket purchase stage, don't worry, we do sell these at the gate, and we can use cash or credit card, although we sort of advise that you bring cash because internet is always a question mark, and if our credit card machines go down, then you won't be able to pay. But we do have both, so don't worry. And that's it. But if you are arriving before the 24th of April, which is Monday, the first day of the event, then you'll need to be in possession of a work access pass or a WAP. and that you'll need to present to us as well. So that and your ticket, it doesn't cancel out the ticket. And then if there's anyone on a crew ticket, your crew tickets include a work access pass and a vehicle pass. And if you've got a work access pass, that includes a vehicle pass. So if you've got a work access pass, you don't need to buy a vehicle pass.
Awesome.
I hope that all makes sense.
Perfect sense. And with printouts, why does people need to print it out and they can't bring it on their phone?
Yeah, so basically, I mean, you absolutely can bring it on your phone, but it happens so often where someone arrives at the burn and their phone, you know, they've been like jamming on the radio, their playlists on Spotify, and their phone is dead, and then they can't present the ticket. So I think if you want to just make sure that you've got everything sorted, just print your ticket out and give it to us, or just make sure that your device where the ticket is charged and has enough battery to be able to show us at the box office. Because there's a lot of people that sort of stand in the queue trying to get their phone charged.
Yeah. I think it's also probably good if you print out, because then you can compare tickets and make sure they all match amongst your crew.
Yeah,
well.
totally.
Everyone's got the same.
Exactly. Like before you set off for the burn and you've got like a whole bunch of people in your car or whatever, just kind of check your tickets, make sure, because the Viagogo thing is so convincing. Like these scam artists are so convincing that the tickets look legit, but they're not. I mean, we're finding tickets that have been kind of jimmied up where actually the Quicket code is for another event on Quicket entirely. So just kind of check each other's tickets, make sure it's correct, and definitely contact Quicket or us, support@quicket.co.za or tickets@africaburn.com, and we can check up to see whether your ticket's legit. But do that now. Don't try and do it on the day that you're leaving. Do that in the week now leading up to the burn, instead of trying to figure it out at the gate. Because the gate is like patchy at best internet for you guys. We're on a bit of a better secure line, but we definitely don't give the password out. But we do have tokens at the gate, but it's the slowest internet in the world, and you definitely don't want to rely on it at all.
Awesome. And so you can get vehicle passes, and there's the two different vehicle types that you can buy there. Are there any other ticket types that can be bought at the gate?
Yeah, so there's absolutely, we're absolutely sold out, but you can buy kids tickets, and kids tickets are for kids that are 14 years and younger. So I don't know what year I worked that out. I think it's 2009. Anyway, 14 years and younger, you can buy those tickets at the gate, and they're 500 Rand. And then
you have to be with an adult.
That sort of, yes, yeah. So the kids have to be, so kids that are anyone younger than 18 years old needs to be accompanied by an adult who, basically an adult. And that adult needs to be sort of older than 20, I think it's 26 years old or 29 years old. Sorry, I can't remember. But it needs to be, it can't be like a 19-year-old bringing a whole bunch of 18-year-olds to the burn, So we do check that. And then what we do is that we link kids' tickets. It's 28 years old. We link kids' tickets to their adults' wristbands, so that we're able to sort of match people up should anything happen at the burn. And it's also just to make sure that there's enough supervision on site for kids. So just in terms of that, I mean, the check-in process at the gate is quite lengthy. So like, please just be prepared that you're probably going to need to stand in the queue for up to, I mean, I think people have stood in the queue for up to not 24 hours, up to 2 hours. Up to 2 hours. So just be prepared for that, because what we do is that we're checking everyone's ticket to make sure that everyone's ticket is in their name. We're logging your wristband numbers in the system. We're putting in your addresses. If people are buying kids tickets, we're making sure that they're signing the kids indemnity form. So there's quite a lot of admin per person to check in. So the queue is pretty long, but we try and get through it as quickly as possible. And it's a great vibe. Yes, Ray, Gate is an absolute vibe. And this year, we're going to be having an opening ceremony at 9 a.m. on Monday, the 24th of April. And we've got a hell of a show prepared, none of which I've organized. everything has been organized with the people who just came to me and said that they were doing it. And it's going to be pretty cool. And we've got a nice speaker with DJs and all sorts of things. So it's a total vibe. Jeanette, yeah.
With the gate times and stuff, with pass out, so those have changed again this year as well. So the gate times are same but different, aren't they, this year?
Yeah, no. They're actually the same as last year. So if you're arriving before the event, before the event starts, the early arrivals week, the gate is operational from the 19th of April, but we still check everyone's tickets on site before that. So I don't think you can get in before that. And on the 19th and 20th, it's Wednesday the 19th, Thursday the 20th, it's open from 9 a.m. until 7 p.m. On Friday and Saturday, it's open from 9 a.m. until 1 a.m. But then on Sunday, the 23rd, this is the day before the event officially starts. The gate closes at 7 p.m. and we will not let you in. We're pretty kind of strict about that. We don't let you in, even if you've got all your everything, even if you've got a work access pass. If it's 7 p.m., the gate is closed, and you'll need to go and camp at Yabat Nobat camp, which is around the corner, and then you'll only be allowed access into the event at 9 a.m. the next morning. So some people come early just to kind of get in front of the queue. But I would advise, if you're not going to make it, and I think like leaving anything after 2 o'clock on that day is cutting it fine on Sunday. So if you're running late, just don't do it. And then on Monday, the gate will open at 9 a.m. and it will be open until 1 a.m. in the morning until Friday of the event. And Friday, we close the gate at 7 p.m. again, and then the gate is closed completely for the event. No more people can come into the event. You can pass out because you've got your wristband. If you've checked in already and you've got your wristband, you can come and go as you please, although we don't advise that because the R355 eats your tires. But once you've checked in, you can come and go as you please, but you cannot check in after 7 o'clock on Friday. What is Friday? What is the date on Friday? I think I've got a date. 28th, Friday the 28th of April.
Cool. So get there sooner rather than later.
Yeah,
and
later.
Don't offer to fetch your friend from the airport when you've come to Africa Burn already. That's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Jules. So we also we've been pushing volunteering a lot, and it's been amazing to see everyone coming through to all the volunteer days at the Junction Hotel. There's another one coming up soon, but I'd like to introduce Claire, who's our volunteer coordinator, and Patsy's here as well, who's also very much part of the volunteer days, and Goulden. And so someone asked that we're always going on about volunteers and how important it is. So the question was, do you have to volunteer at Africa Burn when you come, or can you decide whether you want to volunteer or not when you get there? How does it work best? Claire, you.
Yeah, thanks, Brian.
No worries.
Ash, can you unpin me?
Yeah, someone's pinned. This is awkward. It's Bash, go on. I can't unpin you. No. Allowed to multi-pin.
Just mime her. You have to mime the words, Julia.
I'm not a host. I am a host, but I don't know what pin. How's that?
Okay.
Is that any better?
No. Anyway, I guess you can just carry on. I don't know where Bash is.
We'll just. Bash is back. Anyway.
I think also anyone using Zoom are able to pin who they want at any one point. No. Okay.
Right. Just try this again. And that. Cheers. Sorry about this, guys. Claire, you're next.
Great. Thanks so much, Brian. So to answer your question, does someone have to volunteer, or is it something that they can decide whether or not they want to do it at the event? So Africa Burn style, we don't like to really say you have to do anything. But with that said, speaking to something like the 11 guiding principles, stepping into the Africa Burn space, we are already stepping into a culture in a sense, or a way of being, or an agreement of understanding within the container that is Africa Burn. So participation is extremely central to any one of these other guiding principles, which is very interesting as it is extremely relational. So by participating, it's a little bit like with Alice in Wonderland, when she steps into the world, the magical world, the world of the imagination, and she eats the cake, then suddenly she's plugged in. It's the same thing when we travel and we go to a new place. We only really begin to experience the essence of it once we begin to eat the food, or we are invited into the home of someone, or we go on a spontaneous adventure that we didn't expect to see ourselves on. So with that, participating is very much that. It puts you into the membrane of Africa Burn. It puts you into the heart and soul. Anyone who is gifting in any sense of the word is participating. And so, as we say, there's no plug and play. So at the Burn, we have ways and means for people to participate. We say, come and join in this and come and help with that. For instance, Tankwa Town is made by the people for the people. So there are many ways that people are participating in order to make this movement happen, because it's not a festival, it's an arts movement, it's a creative art movement. And by default, any virgin burner who comes, they may come and treat it as any other music festival, but in that they haven't actually eaten the cake. They haven't actually gone down the rabbit hole, which is a very interesting thing. So all I can really encourage people to do is absolutely participate, whether it's signing up for a volunteer shift, or helping with an artwork, or helping someone to fix their bicycle, or whatever it is that you see needing to happen, to go with another guiding principle, which is immediacy, which is a way for you to immediately engage with your presence in a space, for you to immediately be within the context of where you find yourself, to really experience the heart and soul, the fiber, the membrane, the network of Africa Burn. Otherwise, there's a default of missing that essence, outskirting it, bypassing it, just jumping in for the ride. And even jumping in for the ride itself is participating. But like I'm saying, it's really wonderful to be able to experience the heart and soul of the community itself. And by doing so, getting involved at the volunteer booth. You can come to the volunteer booth if you haven't signed up for a shift already, and find out what's going on, what's in the space, where and how you can get involved. Otherwise, we have a PDF. We have a participation page on the website. You can download the PDF and sign up for any one of the shifts with QR codes. And what's amazing is that entire communities develop around these spaces. We have return volunteers. Also, it's good to know that some things you sign up for may require trainings, may require you to be there 15 minutes before. So it's a really good idea to also contact the people via email and ask them, if that's something that is something that needs to happen. And if anyone needs early access to the event, because we have volunteer opportunities before the event and after the event, please contact me. It's claire@africaburn.com. I can assist you with that. So please also look to see what are the volunteer opportunities. If you're arriving early, there's spaces like Arteria and Greeters and Box Office and Dehek, who would love to have you. If you're staying after the event, we do Collexodus. We collect all of the food supplies and pantry items and resources from people's camps that they're leaving behind, and then that goes to a local charity or goes to DPW. And then also Leave No Trace, our Moot Brigade, they're also looking for people, and they're also staying on 5 days after the event. So if you're looking to just have a bit of extra time in the wilderness and really enjoy the space, it is a nature reserve. you can get involved with that. So Africa Burn, its heart and soul is community-led, it is community-driven, and if you have any more questions, please be in touch. You can also email volunteers@africaburn.com.
And Saturday? This Saturday?
We have a volunteer day on Saturday. Thanks, Brian. So, yeah. So this volunteer day, it's going to be good. It's going to be really good. It's our last volunteer day before we hit the dust. So we are tie-dyeing t-shirts. We have an amazing thing called swag, which you'll find all about when you volunteer. And we're making special homemade, locally made tie-dyed volunteer t-shirts for people who get involved. And we're also making signs for Tankwa Town. We're refurbishing all the signs. We're also doing some pop-up art activations on site, so we're preparing some things for that. And then there'll also be an array of DJs from Afro House to Electro Swing, and a special friend's coming to play, and he's going to be doing some jazz on the trumpet. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday at HQ, Junction Hotel in Salt River. And it'll just be amazing. Come feel the vibe, come participate, come get involved, come meet the people. And it's going to be a really great time before we hit the dust.
Awesome. Yes, definitely volunteer. You don't have to volunteer, but you do, in my opinion, because that's how it makes everything better. And I think all of us working at Africa Burn all started as volunteers, and I don't know anyone who's had a bad or a horrible experience volunteering. It's always a positive.
Radio 3 Tankwa are also going to be there at the volunteer day, so you'll meet Brian in person. So you want to corner him.
That's where all the bad music is. We don't play the good stuff. Cool. Also here we got Lexi, who's our super duper theme camp coordinator, and Kat Herder, who's been handling all of our theme and sound camps. And there were two questions, and I saw one pop up earlier. A lot of people have been asking about water and wood and ice, and what you can buy, and where the food stalls are, and how much the event shirts are with the days on the back and stuff. So, it would, if we could just clear that up for everyone, that'd be great.
Cool. Thanks so much, Brian. Yeah, unfortunately, the event t-shirts are sold out. Sorry about that, Brian, with the lineups. So yeah, let's talk about water. There was a process whereby registered creator projects were able to purchase water and have it delivered to their camp. That process has ended. The water is sold out. So if you are not part of a theme camp or an artwork or a mutant vehicle that's a registered project, I guess a couple of 25-liter drums at the Newland Spring, or grab a couple of bottles of water in series, or sort of whatever your plan is. That would be the best bet. Just make sure you do take water. Definitely don't skip on the water.
There's a spring in Ceres as well, and I know previously on Stone there were local farmers who would supply water, but that's not the case anymore. So everyone has to be radically self-reliant when it comes to their water this year.
Absolutely. The ice sales are as normal. Patsy is here, so I'm pretty sure she'll give more detail on that later, but that's about the only thing you can buy at Africa Burn. There may very well be suppliers who are offering firewood. There are a few suppliers on site, but that's not something that's managed sort of by us at Africa Burn. But yeah, so it's this time now where you have to find the things and take them to the burn, and I'm sure you guys are going to be great.
Awesome. We've also had loads of superstar international DJs get in touch with us on social, and they want to find out when they can book their slots. They want to gift performances and stuff. And so, yeah, if anyone is a DJ and wanting to play somewhere, how would you recommend they handle it?
Well, the thing about Africa Burn is that we're all DJs. But yeah, I think a lot of camps are on the Africa Burn Theme Camps Facebook group. It's probably the easiest way to get in touch in advance. But if you've been to the Burn before, you know that there's no such thing as a lineup, and anything can happen. So your best bet is to really just see the camp that you like and go and chat to them, and maybe they've got a spot for you. That's really going to be the best way to make things happen. And then that's sort of in line with immediacy, you can make all of your best laid plans in advance of the event, but once you get there, anything can happen. And
Don't
yeah,
bring
some
your
of the best
vinyl.
parties are the unplanned ones. So yeah, just go talk to the camps.
And the
That's what I would
atypical party, there's always a good knees up there, isn't
Yeah. Yeah, they should be. That's my old camp. Yeah, they'll be playing fun music every day, most days, all day, I assume.
there? Flaming Mankini.
I guess we'll see when we get there.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Lexi. Bash, who we saw at the beginning, is not just DPW, he's DMV. If there's an acronym with a D in it, then Bash is part of it. So he was asking about, he can help us. A lot of people were asking about mutant vehicles and art cars and so on and so forth. And so a lot of people have said they want to bring like their little scooters and stuff. And I know there was a rule that's probably hidden somewhere on the website about having to pick it up or something, or if you have to register and stuff. So I don't know if you can give us a bit on that.
Yes, I can definitely do that. I'm still trying to put myself in as... Right, there we go. All right, guys. Yes, thank you for that, Brian. Yes, how the saying goes is if you can't lift it, then it needs mutation and registration. But yeah, with mutants vehicles, or with everything that we'd like to see as moving art, everything still needs to adhere to rules that we have in South Africa. And so with these rules, we have to enforce them on our side. So non-adherence to these rules can lead to driving suspension and ejection from the site, and or fines and arrested by the local traffic and road authorities. And then when you're looking at your power e-bikes, the electric vehicle is registered in watts, just like a drill or hairdryer. And 1 horsepower is about 700 watts. So that's like the strength of 1 horse. So at Africa Burn, anything under 400 watts is okay and would not need to be registered or mutated. But we'd like to see that it's transformed and no longer look like a normal vehicle. But it doesn't need to be registered, and no real need for it to be mutated. Yeah, everybody above needs to register and mutate it, especially fat wheel scooters. Burning Man has to adhere to Nevada state laws, and Africa Burn has to adhere to South African laws. So, as well as GNDB, we'd like to tell everybody that the speed limit on the Binnickering is 10 kilometers per hour, even for electrically powered bikes. When we say be safe, even if you're doing the speed limit, operate safely around participants, especially in crowded or high traffic areas. Please do not ride around Binnickering Road. This is reserved for pedestrians, bicycles, and our event operations and emergency vehicles only.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I can't just bring my motorbike and put some tinsel on it and use it to get around Africa Burn.
No, we do not want you to come in and just make a personal vehicle for yourself and then just ride around, not actually experiencing what it is to be in a mutated car and giving everybody a lift in your community to other places, as well as it's being part of the community as an art form. Yeah.
Absolutely. And also, Bash mentioned, but pedestrians and cyclists have right of way throughout Tankwa Town. It's a great pleasure walking slowly in front of a car and feeling like you own the road for once. But yeah, I think that's an important thing to note when you get into Tankwa Town. A lot of people have this rush to find their camping spot or get there before someone else because we might run out of space, which we've not seen yet. So I think that's also the thing as you come over and you go through greeters and meet Gordon and her crew is then don't feel the need to rush. You got the whole week. You know, the rule of thumb is if you're pulling up dust off the road, then you're definitely doing over 10K. So I would advise you just to take it super easy and coast through, look at the sights and enjoy the sights and stop off on the way. That campsite will still be there when you get there. There's no mad panic to get to a spot. Bash, you also just did the drive as well from Cape Town side as well. You're still alive, which is a bonus. How was it?
The ride is pretty tricky, I would say. For first timers that come through, take it easy. 60 kilometers per hour is your maximum. And when you come to places we see that look like a river that has been through the road, slow down. You don't know whether it is got a lot of potholes or it's just a soft sand. So I advise that everybody will slow down to almost a crawl and move through it easily and then carry on. The first 20 to 30 kilometers, I would say, really keep an eye on the road. When you get to Potsdal, Tankwa Potsdal, things are in a way better, but still slow down to every river crossing that was there. As soon as you're onto the road to Tankwa National Park, that road is corrugated quite a lot of the way, so you'll need to find your rhythm in when driving over that road, because you find it, if you're going too slow, it's very bumpy. If you're going too fast, again, too bumpy. So, and we found, and again, 60 to 70 kilometers per hour is fine, but again, when you see a crossing, please slow down. And then
there are those chicanes as well with the old cattle grids where the road comes together as well. And yeah,
that is correct. When you see any oncoming traffic and any chevron signs, please slow down and figure out who to go through one at a time.
Awesome. Thanks, Bash. Yeah, the next participant orientation and education program email that will be coming to you in the next few days has a lot more information on the roads and how to handle it. You know, people have been asking, oh, can I do it in my Polo? Can I do it in my Renault Squid? You can, but obviously with a lighter car that's fully loaded on skinnier tires, it's very different to a 4x4. So all your mass, speed and motion things are slightly different in a car that's been designed for the city versus the back roads. So we would definitely just recommend taking it easy at all times, even on the highway. The roads here are a bit like Mad Max sometimes. So yeah, just take your time. It's better to go slower and not change a tire than have to change a tire in the heat of the desert, in my experience. Cool. Thanks, Bash, mate. There were a few other questions or stuff that's been floating through. I'll pass to Patsy about ice, if she's still here. Hello, Patsy. What a nice surprise.
Yes, I quickly ran off to switch the office lights back on. It's on a timer.
Me too.
Okay, so yes, as have been mentioned, the only thing for sale at the Burn is ice. We only sell 5 kilogram bags, and they are 80 Rand a bag. That's it. There is a lot of ice. So if your experience has been standing online from 7 o'clock in the morning and not getting ice, those days are way behind us. We have plenty. There'll be enough. There is now shade. And ice happens from 10 to 1 every day. Well, sorry, let me rephrase that, from 11 to 1. So what we are going to do is we're going to sort out the theme camps between 10 and 10:45 so that they can get back to being theme camps. I mean, at the end of the day, they are gifting the rest of the community. So there's a lot of things that need to happen. So we sort them out so that they can get on with whatever they need to do. And the general population can then come along at 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock, hang out, just do stuff, buy ice, talk cuck, whatever. The ice shifts, unfortunately, all have been filled because it is the coolest place at Tankwa. But do come along and say hello, even if you don't need ice. We'd like to see you. I think that's the important things.
And can you people volunteer at ICE?
You can volunteer at ICE. I volunteer at ICE.
I know you do.
So yes, normally there are volunteer opportunities at ICE. We have desk jockeys and we have ice slingers. I have now also created a hype man position because somebody who's desperately wanting to volunteer, but like I said, all the shifts are full. Do pop along because sometimes people sign up for shifts, but then they party hard and they don't make it to fill a shift. So often in the morning we get there and it's like, oh shit, we're like 2 people short or 3 people short. So if that's something that you want to do, please pop by, see if you can help out. I mean, we'll stick you in the line. You can fling some ice. It's fun.
Awesome. Thank you. And you get to listen to Radio Free Tankwa while you...
And you get to listen to Radio Free Tankwa. And when they play cuck music, I go around the corner and I tell them to play nice music. So,
happens almost every 5 minutes.
Yes, it does.
But that is one of the few bonuses of queuing for ice is Radio Free Tankwa.
Yeah. So can I just two things. So I agree with Claire. Volunteering is, I think, where it's at. There's a lot of vibe and fun to be had here in town. So even if you feel that you want to just party while you're in the desert, there is an opportunity to really make a big contribution by joining us at the Junction Hotel. So we're going to have fun, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done before we hit the desert. So do come along on Saturday, especially the people in the northern suburbs where the Two Ocean Marathon is not happening. And and then the other thing is, yes, I've been to the burn twice in my Figo, and the big secret is to just take it easy. So that's it.
There you go. Top advice. We've got a few little logistics questions came through as well. So I'm going to pass back to Julia with her other job that she does amongst the many at Africa Burn with suppliers and logistics and stuff. So Creative Crews have asked about having trucks and deliveries and things like that. How is all of that handled at the gate, and are there cut-off times?
Yeah, so the Supplier Gate operates from 8 until 7 p.m. And registered suppliers need to be in the event around that time. But in terms of registered, my son's in. Hold on one moment.
There's a child reaching for something dangerous.
Sorry. So basically the suppliers, registered registered projects have been given the option to, if they've got a sort of once-off delivery, so that's like if you've got a truck that's delivering all your camp infrastructure or your, whatever, wood for your artwork or anything like that, they're able to register with us, and those people can literally come in, the driver can come in, drop the stuff off and leave that same day before 7 p.m. And it's very important that they do that. So, and that is available to creative projects. So if you have a scenario like that, please just get in touch with your wrangler and they'll send you through that form. And on that form, they're going to ask you the date that they're going to arrive, and they're also going to ask for the truck driver's details, which can be quite tricky to get, I know. But if you can sort of find those details, it really just helps everything for us. And then most importantly is that one of the big issues that we have at the gate is that these suppliers arrive at the gate and they sort of say, like, I need to go to this person, you know, and they've got the person's first name, no surname. And, you know, and so we kind of play this like investigative game. We look what's inside their truck. I kind of know that, like, I'm using a bad example. I'm not saying that Bubbles and Bass have have done this before, but like we open it up and we're like, cool, you've got a whole bunch of champagne. You must be going to Bubbles and Bass, you know. So like if you've got that scenario, please just give them all the information that they'll need and we'll help guide them to the space that they need. But we need that information to be able to get your shit to you. So that would be my only request.
Awesome. Thanks, Jules. Another maybe slightly deeper question with suppliers, because someone was commenting and they're like, oh, well, they were bemoaning the fact that the Spirit Train isn't coming back this year. And they asked about how we can have suppliers like tent companies on site and not the Spirit Train with regards to decommodification. I don't know if you have any.
Yeah, so I mean, anyone can sort of chime in here if they want to, but basically, you know, tent companies are there. So tents, for one thing, is a problem because anything bigger than 100 square meters needs an engineer sign off and all that kind of stuff. So if you you know, like we generally allow suppliers that are supplying something that is of a technical nature that they need, you know, where there's a health and safety risk, and that kind of thing, you know, that needs to be erected. In terms of the Spirit Train, you know, the Spirit Train is using their name, I guess, and commercializing it, you know, advertising their, although I don't think they call it the Spirit Train anymore, but they sort of advertise it with like brands, you know, drinks brands and that kind of stuff, and that's where we need to draw the line. And you know,
we've got a really good relationship.
It's sort of the same thing like having red. Sorry, say again.
I was just saying we've got a really good relationship with them. So people are like, oh, why aren't they coming? Are they banned because of decommodification? But actually we have a good relationship with them, and you know, they would be brilliant if they came back with another project.
Totally, and they sort of made the decision that they wanted to commercialize it, and that decision included not being able to bring it to Africa Burn anymore. You know, I mean, it kind of just opens up the default world thinking, you know, like you wouldn't want to come and there'd be like the clan sponsored by Red Bull. You know, it's kind of the same. It's teetering on the same space. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, definitely. I think we know it quite well. I suppose it's just for others to understand where that line is. Cool. So that's it for all the questions that were emailed through. I'm not sure if there's any in the chat that we haven't answered yet. Bash, is there anything there?
I think we're pretty...
Sorry, someone? No, I think a lot of them have been answered in the chat thread.
Oh, Brian, the hot potato, the map. They want to know about the map.
Map.
The map.
Right. Well, the map has been a joy and pleasure to work on. I'm gonna give you a sneaky peek of work in progress. The map has been wonderfully put together by Roger and his team and Dexy and everyone, and put it all together is on the art cruise. So there's a lot of information that has to go into it, and there's a density of information that makes it an absolute nightmare. So I'm going to give you a sneaky peek without prejudice or with prejudice, I don't know, but don't expect what you see here to be exactly what gets given to you at the gate. Let me just try share my screen. Cool. Are you all seeing that?
Yes.
Yes. Cool. Okay. So this is the map for this year. I think, you know, Lexi or anyone else from Art or Stuff can chirp in. So at the top left here, so that's where the gate is. So you're going to come down this road. Greeters are here-ish or up there, and then you'll come in through to the main road. That's where our bus is, the double-decker bus that you see as you come in. And then that's the main road through all the artwork. And they've built this kind of beautiful kind of Fibonacci circle, so you can go exploring all around here. There are 2 quiet zones this year, so you can just about see them here. There's one there. And then you can see this line of dunes here. So that's what provides the buffer for the sound that's coming from the Binnekring there. So this is a quiet zone, and the specifics around the quiet zones you will be able to figure out. And what you can see is last year, the roads stopped around here on what is D, and there was some camping on this side here. And so there's this whole 2 extra sections there that runs across the back of the whole map up towards the dune here. Off centre camp, so that's where ice and everything is at the middle. There's a separate map for that there. What Lexi's done, so what you'll see is that there's theme camps all the way across the Binnekring. There was a tiny, we've reduced the size of the patch of that kind of black hole that was just by off centre camp where there was the dune there, in the hope that the Binnekring now continues all the way along from top to bottom without it being as segmented as it was before. As with before, so there's like a noisy-ish area here with some strong sound camps, and then other theme camps running around here, less noisy. There's chillers here, which is great music, but then yeah, all theme camps all the way. And then the other loud zone is around here, kind of. Whoops. So where the other camps, so that's where Why Not were last year. And so then that's going to stretch much further back now with other camps all the way up to F surrounding this dune here. There's another quiet zone here. And again, buffered by this dune. So there's this dune, oops. There's this dune here that provides this kind of buffer to sound. But, you know, as with everything, this is a quiet zone in Africa Burn that comes with its own terms and conditions. It's definitely going to be, if you're camping here and then the loud sound camps are here, that you're going to hear them just as much as you're probably going to hear them here, because if we're looking at the map thing, that's 100 meters. So you've got like 100, 200, 300. So you could only be about 400. So if quietness is a really big thing for you, I would definitely recommend you tuck on these back roads here. Obviously, we don't see the road structure changing, but you know, areas like this here, if you are looking to have a quiet time at Africa Burn, would definitely be the areas that I would consider. You can see we're chock full of art pieces this year and a number of burns, which we're super, super excited about, because that's the main reason most of us go to Africa Burn. There's the temple there, clan there. For the first time that I can properly remember, there's a nice bank of toilets in the middle of the Binnekring to try and avoid people getting caught short in the middle. Again, it's an experiment. We're not sure if it's a good one or not, but we'll figure that out by the end of the event. Roads are the same as always, so you've got, it goes round like a clock, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's how you find your way around the clock face. And then they go from the Binnekring, which is the main road across the frontage, then they go alphabetically across, so A, B, C, D, E, F. and in keeping with the space theme. So it'll be Alien Street, Beetlejuice Street, Curiosity Street, Debris Street, Eject Street, Far, Far Away Street. So if you are thinking, I want to camp here, you would be on the corner of 7-ish and Eject Street, because that's E that's running across there. So we will release the map next week, definitely. It'll probably still be unfinished, but that's fine because we've planned for it, and we're going to be printing you hot, fresh maps as they come off the press at the gate. So, you know, so while we're not going to start moving theme camps back, and the road structure will pretty much be the same, there are still a few odd roads. So there's kind of this snaky road here that's called Balambo, whereas C continues all the way there. So there are some parts that may seem illogical. There's Summer Holiday Road there that runs down there. I think what's also super important to mention with the map is that this is the event site. And some of you who were there last year will know that you can see those lovely mountains in the distance. And it's really important that everyone stays within the event site and doesn't go wandering off. It's all going to be quite clearly marked. But whereas Stony had fences that stopped people from moving around, we don't have that now. And it's crucial to everyone's safety as well as our ability, should we need to shut down the event site, if someone loses a child or something like that, that everyone stays within those areas. So no mutants going off for sundowner jewels outside the event site and stuff. You know, we're taking that a very hard line on that this year, to kind of stop people going missing, and because you don't want to see people trooping off to the distance. But yeah, the dunes are still there. We've tried to build them into the design where possible. There's hopefully enough toilets everywhere. It might be worth mentioning that here there's a lot of walkways that are created through the dunes. So if you're staying here on 9 and C and you want to get straight through to the Binnackring, you can. But if you want to get there in a car, you'd probably have to come up C to get there, and you won't be able to use these roads. And the same here on 4 and 3. So you'll be able to cut through from the camping to the Binnackring across those roads quite easily. We just don't particularly want cars getting stuck there. If you do get stuck, because these roads are still being bedded down, there's no towing service in Tanqua Town. The towing service is your friends or the people camping near you who can help push you out after you've let a bit of air out of your tires. So yeah, please, if you go to DPW asking for a tow service, you will definitely look like that icon there. They're lovely and helpful for all other things except towing vehicles. Yeah, so that's your map. I don't know how I'm going to get around and see all the art within a week, or all the theme camps, but I think it's a challenge that we're all hopefully up for in a few weeks time. That's your sneaky peek. I hope it meets with all your approval, because getting approval on the map is near impossible. Cool. So, I mean, we've gone past 7 now. We've gone through a lot of the questions. I don't know if there's anything.
Brian, they were asking, will the What the Fuck guide be available in PDF before the event?
We will probably publish it online on Quackopedia on the Sunday or Monday before the gate opens. It's difficult. I don't want to ruin the surprise of the WTF guide because it's amazing, but ruin the surprise of everything that's there and the artwork. While I know you want to plan, I mean, the map's obviously more important because then you can download it and you can tell your mates where you're going to be and what you're going to do and figure out that kind of stuff. But like what the artworks are and the performances we like to, and the tempo and stuff, we like to try and keep a surprise as long as possible. So I will publish it online. I'm more anxious about the printed ones than the electronic ones at the moment, but that'll either be Sunday night or Monday morning as the gates open. We'll publish on Quackopedia, and so hopefully you'll either pick one up on Monday morning and have all the information, or you can then download it later on Monday or Tuesday if you're coming up later in the week. We print, I think we're printing about 6,000 for 8,000 people, which is the right ratio, if not a bit more. So make sure you grab one at the gate when you go through, because we'd love them all to be gone by Friday. And yeah, I think from the WTF side, that's it. There's lovely, it's wonderful to put the WTF together and realize all these amazing projects, and the ideas and creativity is just phenomenal. And it's a great pleasure to be able to do that, but it also spoils the surprise as well. Maybe one year we'll get someone else to have a crack at it. Cool. Is that it? Anyone else got anything else? I don't think so. info@africaburn.com is your handy email address. Response times are longer than usual at this time of year. A lot of us are heading off to the desert in stages over the next week or so. So please be patient. It's my favorite part of customer support is when someone sends a question through and then 5 minutes later has gone to look on Quackopedia and found the answer and then mails me back to say, don't worry, they've found it. That helps us a lot. So Quackopedia is your friend. But if not, info, we'll always try our best to help and try and be as quick as possible, but please be as patient as possible with us. Awesome. Thank you. Thanks to everyone from the Africa Burn team for joining. Thank you, all of you participants. We'll see all 72 of you at Quackerfontein. I'm looking forward to seeing you pop past the radio caravan and say hello. And don't panic about packing. We'll get there in the end. We're all panicking. We do that for you. It must be fun. You must have fun getting ready. Don't worry, Africa Burn is fun and play and not trauma. It's a joy, it's a pleasure. Make sure it's that all the way through your packing, pack fun things. Don't take it seriously, but don't take it too seriously.
Also just one note on whilst you're at the event, just to sort of take care of each other. And anything that seems amiss, please report it to the Rangers or to the HQ as soon as possible. Like if something goes missing, if you haven't seen a friend for a couple of days, and you're just getting worried or something like that, just report it. We can do more on site than we can do post-event. And so, just always report anything that you're feeling uneasy about. We're there to help, and the Rangers are dotted around. They're all in orange, and they can help with anything. Cool.
Brilliant. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you in a few weeks' time. Well, not a few days. Cheerio.
Cheers.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Brian. Cheers. Good night, and everyone. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.